Hey everybody, this is Kelly Cass. I'm with the Fuze magazine. We're down here at Welcome to Rockville in Jacksonville, Florida. I've got Danny with me here from Greta Van Fleet.
Heyo.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Fine. You get cooled off after you set?
Yes. It took a while actually, but yes.
Yeah, it was a good set.
Eventually
y'all
got
had
there.
them packed in there.
Yeah, they were pretty close. That's often a great way to judge it, even if it's a small room, you know, how close they are to each other.
So I know you were at Coachella last weekend.
We were.
What was the crowd compared to that?
Actually pretty similar, except for the fact that we had a tent over us, you know. So it was kind of it was a little bit more packed at Coachella just because everyone wanted to be under the tent space, you know.
True,
the sound's better, the shades there. But you know, pretty comparable.
Okay.
They're both pretty large crowds.
So what was your initial reaction when you played the first time in front of a crowd like that?
It was actually back last June or July, and we played Summerfest in Milwaukee. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's a very large festival, and we opened for Shinedown. Yeah. So it was, you know, there were like 13,000 people there, and we were not really much of anything yet, and it was very, very intimidating. But it ended up being so much fun. The build-up's always, you know, harsh, and it's hard to tell the difference between adrenaline and nerves until you get on the stage and then you start playing the first song, and it's just like as soon as you start it just all goes away and it turns into so much fun. Now
you said how much different it is recording in a studio as playing live, because you have to find that spot, and it's really hard with the crowd. You can feed off the crowd. So how did you actually end up finding your mentality to be able to focus and get your music done in the studio?
Well, it helped that we were all at the same level. Yeah. You know, so we were all kind of in it together. We all kind of learned the studio arts ourselves as a unit, which is great. So we're all equal in that.
On the same page.
There's no one with, I have more experience than you, you know, like that kind of deal. It doesn't really exist. So that's a great thing. But yeah, we had a great producer / engineer. He engineered us at the time, Al Sutton from Detroit, and he was literally like a godfather.
How did you find him?
He was recommended to us by a lot of different other people that we had met at the time in Detroit. One of them is Vinny Dombrowski. He's the lead singer of Sponge. Yeah. There was a while where he was, you know, kind of into us, and he's a Michigan guy, and we met up and hung out with him a couple times, just because he wanted to, you know, meet us and stuff. And he said, if you want rock and roll, you got to go to Al Sutton, and that was probably the first recommendation we got. And then, you know, throughout the years we heard more, and we were like, all right, this Al Sutton guy, we gotta go find him, and then we did. You did. And it was well worth our search.
Now, when you all started, playing in Michigan, you started playing at smaller venues and everything.
Yeah. What
were some of the venues you first started playing at?
I remember good old White's Bar in Saginaw, Michigan. It's probably literally like a 40-person cap bar. It's tiny, but that's where we really became Greta Van Fleet. You know, because when I joined the band, it was a little bit different. What's up? Oh, hey.
Hey,
Jake. Any words from Jake?
How are you?
Any words from Jake?
How are you? I love you all. I love you all. I love you all.
I'll drop in on one of yours later.
Amazing.
Right?
Nice to meet you.
Where were we?
We were talking about the little venue that you ended up playing in Michigan.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it's a tiny room, but that's literally where we became Greta Van Fleet, I believe, because I joined the band. We'd played for like a year, you know, at even smaller clubs than that I don't even remember, you know, like almost no one there, just playing to play because it was not in the garage, you know. It was fun. We liked doing it. We didn't care. And then, and then all of a sudden, like, White's Bar came around, and they really liked us, and it actually had, like, a turnout every night. Like, it was a small place, but, you know, we could pack it, and we started meeting locals, you know, and it was actually 20 minutes from where we live. Okay. So it was something that we could, like, travel. You don't need a van, you know.
And with school during the day.
With school during the day, because we were, like, 14.
You can't miss that.
Yeah, it happened, but... you know, so that was one, and we played, and they asked us to come back like for the next 2 years. Yeah. So we for 2 years after that, you know, that's where we started. I started fitting in the band, you know, and it started working. It was cool.
Yeah, because I know you said that you felt like an outsider at first.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean,
Yeah.
but you still grew up with them. I mean, you were still always around, right?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Now, you've got tour here in the States. You were Coachella last weekend. You're here this weekend. You've got a tour in the U.S., then you go overseas for a little bit, come back to the U.S.
Yep.
So basically in June is the end of all that.
Yep.
So what do you see yourselves doing then?
In June, after that, after everything, the end of summer is going to be pretty busy. Actually,
Yeah.
We're hitting like Japan and Hawaii, like a bunch of these different places that we haven't been to,
Yeah.
but like you have to go to, which is great for me. Great for me. I love that. I love traveling. The more, the better.
Now, when you get over there traveling, because you love learning.
I do.
Learning, you say you have to keep on and keep on learning.
I do.
If you, so on these trips, on this tour, if you have extra time on a day off or something like that,
Yes.
what are you going to go hunt for to do? Are you going to go do some history looking or hunting, or what are you going to do?
It depends. It really depends on the location.
Okay.
It depends on what's there.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've heard like you wake up in a different city every night. Well, that's
Yeah.
true. That's literally true. I'm gonna wake up and I'll be in New Orleans tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it depending on where it is. I like to hike. I have
Yeah.
my golf clubs on tour.
Okay.
But if not, I have books.
There you go.
I have a laptop with recording capabilities.
Yeah.
And instruments. I always have instruments, but I never bring my main instruments on tour. I always bring the ones that like,
Well, yeah, because
like
you
a
played drums
ukulele,
on- yeah.
ones that I want to get better at.
Because
You know,
you've played the French horn, you've played the ukulele, you were in
Yeah.
the jazz band, you were in the high school band or middle school band.
Mhm.
So you started out on the piano, you taught yourself how to play the drums.
Yes.
So are there any other instruments you want to learn how to play?
There are a lot of instruments I'd love to learn how to play.
Because that's on the mandolin, you have to play the mandolin.
If it were
right?
up to, if I could choose, I would be an orchestra.
Okay.
I would be an orchestra and not like I would be the London Philharmonic,
Okay.
like a big orchestra.
Yeah.
Because it's just when you're at that level, and I loved high school band, but the reason I think, I ended it in high school is just because it didn't turn out to be how I thought it was,
Exactly.
because I have high expectations, and it was just, being treated at that level was just, it's difficult, it's at that level of
Do you think it
passionate
was
you
more
are.
difficult too? Because again, it's in school and everything's on a schedule.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then as soon as school ended, you're thrown into this world where schedules don't exist.
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, sleep schedules, they
Yeah.
don't exist because I'll be in so many different time zones in a month. It's impossible to
How do you
have
think?
a schedule.
Yeah. How
So
do you think that's going? I mean, is that going to be a pro or a con for you?
pro for the rest of the boys.
Okay.
Yeah. Pro for them. Not a pro, but not a con for me because I grew up with a very scheduled lifestyle, and I think it's good for me to experience this, aspect of it too, because I'd say I had enough of my life to, acclimate to that, and then now to acclimate to this, you've seen it all. So.
All right. Also, now, if you could be, say, any other band, if you could pick any other band to be in and just jump in, take over.
The Beatles.
The Beatles. That's what you want to do.
Yep.
You want to be the drummer?
Final answer.
Or do you want to play? Yeah, you want to do something different.
What's cool about the Beatles, and like the reason I chose that is because they're all multi-instrumentalists themselves. So was there a bass player? Yes. Did he only play the bass? Not a chance. There's so much piano and so much organ and all that stuff, and they all played it. That's the band I want to be in because they were not afraid to do that. When one person wrote a song, they brought it to the table, and then they finished the song, and the rest of the guys are like, all right, and they use it as motivation to write a better song. But they loved each other, so it was just like a perfect mixture of everything. It was great.
And y'all have already tons and tons of songs ready.
Yes, we do.
So when are we going to get our hands on more of them? I know
this summer.
Okay, because
Well,
I know you've got a full-length debut album that will be coming out because you just did the EP in November.
Mm-hmm.
So not a date set yet.
Not a date set
Still
yet.
hanging. I'm trying.
Nope.
I tried.
But we have like it narrowed down to like a month, maybe
Yeah.
couple months.
Yeah.
June, July.
Yeah.
June, like hopefully no later than July. You know, that time. We'll probably announce it sometime in June or something. We'll see. Well, whatever.
Now, a lot
but
of
now
your
I have to kill you because you know.
There. See, no total details, but I've got
Yep.
I got a little bit. Okay.
Yep.
Now, a lot of your shows sold out in under 15 minutes. You've done.
Yeah.
You're doing couple nights in cities. You know, instead of just one night. What did y'all think about that when y'all started hearing, bam, tickets on sale? Oh crap, they've already sold out. Bam, 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 bam. What did y'all first say to each other?
You know, I think my parents' reaction to it would probably be much more sufficient because they were just, you know, thrown off the wall because they were here through this whole thing too. But yeah. I was pretty floored. We have like group texts that are you know, Greta Van Fleet band with our manager and stuff, and he sends us all the time when shows are sold out in minutes, and it's an exciting thing because it's not anything any of us have ever seen. Our manager even, like, you know, he hasn't really seen that in an act ever at this stage. So it's cool. Very humbling that our crowds, our fans are quick. Yeah. You know, that's a great crowd. They have priorities. Yeah. You know, it says a lot about them. It really does. I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about you.
Now, when you first got to hear your music on the radio, the first time you heard your song on the radio, what'd you do? Were y'all together or?
We were. It was local radio.
Yeah.
I was a freshman or sophomore, so it was early on. Yeah, we were still young, so we were like nerding out. Exactly. Of course, we were freaking out. It was. It's actually like it was a pretty popular station for like our area.
Yeah.
It was just a alternative like rock station, and they had like a feature one night where they, you know, played 5 new songs from 5 new bands that like weren't heard of, and like they selected us as one of them, and it was Highway Tune, and we were all like kind of texting each other, like listening to it in different. I was at home, they were, you know, I had school the next day, so like I was at home, they were at their house, and we were just like texting each other like, oh, it's playing. You know, it was cool. It was fun. It was a great feeling.
Do you think all this touring and being literally under each other's feet all the time, do you think that's going to bring you closer together or kind of push you away from each other?
I don't think it's really going to do much of anything to it, the situation, because we've kind of spent the last 4 or 5 years just like this. You know, that's why we've acclimated to touring so well, just because it's not really a huge difference. There's not really a huge difference. We grew up like doing road trips and stuff. We drive down to Florida and Alabama, Tennessee all the time, like South Carolina. You know, we did road trips growing up all the time in high school and stuff too. So like it was, you know, it was pretty easy. I think we'll do just fine. They grew up with each other, you know.
Yeah. Does that, you think, so everything, your families, are your parents close together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. We're one big family between the two of us.
Okay, and they're, of course, good support for you.
Oh, absolutely. They're the best support for us.
Okay.
Doesn't get better than motherly support.
That's awesome.
You know, and fatherly support, but mostly motherly support.
Yes, I've got 2 boys.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I know how it is.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I know you've got to run on to your next interview.
Yes.
I've enjoyed talking to you. I could talk to you
that's
for
how
probably
it goes.
20, 30 more minutes because I've got tons of stuff.
Yeah.
But I've got to let Danny go. So, again, this is Kelly Cass from the Fuze magazine at Welcome to Rockwell with Danny from Greta Van Fleet.
Thank you.
Thank you.